Good evening, everyone. My name is Beatrice, and welcome to another episode of Voices of ASEAN. Now, last Friday, I was joined by Deborah Butro, the Secretary General of the ASEAN Young Entrepreneurs Council and President of the Malaysian Young Entrepreneurs ASEAN Association, who spoke on AYEC and the upcoming AYEC Carnival in Brunei. So today, as part of an ongoing partnership between Voice of ASEAN and AYEC, I am pleased to welcome Fatin Arifin, the President of the Young Entrepreneurs Association of Brunei and the Chairwoman of AYEC 2021. Fatin is a dynamic young entrepreneur with a passion for helping drive entrepreneurship in her home country and the wider ASEAN region. Now, not only is she the founder of Kojen Inc., an enterprise development firm, she has also represented Brunei in many local, regional, and international events to enhance entrepreneurship, making her government bring her on board to be part of GANIM, which is something that's a company that specializes in the food and beverage industry. Joining me live from Bandar Sri Begawan, here is Fatin Arifin. Hi, Fatin.
Hi, Dr. Beatrice.
I am so glad to see you because you are the first Bruneian I'm actually having a conversation with. Can you believe that?
Wow, well done. In Brunei, we are limited edition, so
Yes, we're so close, we're neighbors. But do you know that I've never been to Brunei even once? I've never had the opportunity to go. And now that I've met you, definitely there's going to be a visit scheduled.
yes, please.
So tell us something about Brunei before I plunge into. So I'm so excited having you here. But tell me something. What makes Brunei Brunei, in your opinion?
Brunei is such a peaceful country. Sometimes people feel very confused if there are people here in Brunei, actually, because of so much peace. And we don't honk at the streets and all that. That's so uncommon. And I think most recently as well, we were COVID-free for about 1 year and 3 months before COVID hit us the second time around. So in August, yeah.
Wow.
That was it was really lovely to be able to move around without mask and be able to actually have gatherings and all that simply because our government was just so awesome at managing the situation, and alhamdulillah they are doing it rather well as well right now, trying to control the pandemic. And
Fantastic.
that's Brunei.
So besides oil, because we all know Brunei is all of, we know Brunei for its oil. But besides that, what other businesses are, it's like number two, or what can we know about the ecosystem in Brunei?
I think at the moment, in terms of ecosystem, we are serious about diversifying our economy away from oil and gas, of course. That has been, a strong aspiration for the past 50 years. However, at the moment, the urgency to diversify is strong. We have got a downstream oil and gas is still pretty strong at the moment, but that we are on our way for diversification. And aside from downstream oil and gas, where we got the biggest investment, of course, from China with Hengi Petrochemical, we are also looking at developing our food and halal food sector, aquaculture, agriculture, because Brunei's environment is so pristine and it's suitable to grow healthy aquaculture products higher grade type of agriculture. So that's where
agriculture. Agriculture. What about tourism? Is Brunei big on tourism?
We are big on Islamic tourism. We are happy to, I guess, manage in a way where we do not want a mass tourism. We are looking at more sustainable type of tourism. So I guess you can say for Brunei, we focus very much on cultural and also Islamic tourism. So a lot of tourists come here to actually see our mosque, to actually see our Muslim way of life here, which is strongly rooted as part of our culture as well. So that's one of the beauty. I think aside from that as well, we are actively growing our startup sector as well.
Oh, that's great.
From ICT, education, and all that.
Fantastic, fantastic. So let me plunge into the fact that you are the first chair lady for ASEAN Young Entrepreneur Council. Am I correct?
Yes. The first
So,
lady in the club.
oh, yes. And so, as AYEC serves as the official voice for young entrepreneurs in the ASEAN policymaking process, and as the chairwoman or chair lady, what does your role entail?
Ah,
And how will you make
thank
a
you very much.
difference this year?
Inshallah. Thank you very much, Datu Beatrice. Before that, let me start with Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So aside from being able to boss around, I'm kidding. Aside from convening AYEC, I actually, as the chair, I also have to, I guess, take stock of where AYEC is, where it has been, and of course to plan way forward. And as part of my aspiration as well to engage with my council members towards the vision, because AYEC at the moment, being about 6 years old, 7 years old, we are still growing and we're still finding our voice. Because we were established in 2015, I think, during the 26th ASEAN Summit in Malaysia. That were and we were endorsed by ASEAN leaders during the Kuala Lumpur Declaration. And this was, of course, following the landmark initiative to include youth under the economic pillar by ASEAN leaders in Bandar Seri Begawan Declaration in 2013. So really, the establishment of AYEC is really to become a voice of young entrepreneurs in the region. So hence, as the chair, I had to take that seriously, and to understand as well what we have done, where we have been, and where we need to go forward towards. So my personal aspiration for AYEC is really for us to become this dynamic, inclusive network of young entrepreneurs, where we are facilitators of opportunities for our young entrepreneurs to actually do business together, across the region, because we want to promote, at the end of the day, trade, right?
Yeah,
Trade.
yeah,
So,
of course.
so that's really the aspiration, to really grow to become a strong ASEAN business community, where our members hail from various industries, from various businesses, and also, inclusive, including women as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To stand on the shoulders of giants and fly further.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah. So actually, when I came in as chair, there were several things that I wanted to do. I wanted to have more women participation at the council, because I felt it was quite lonely as well, to be among the few women sitting at the council. And also, we wanted to have more regular engagements and interactions amongst our council members. So beyond just the meeting once a year physically somewhere.
Right.
So we wanted to do,
Right.
we wanted to have more engagement, and also, of course, to grow our advocacy and influence, of course, within the ASEAN region. So because we are always regularly, we report to ASEAN Business Advisory Council. So we are always invited to the Joint Business Council meetings, where we have access to other amazing business councils, where they report what the activities are, what they're doing. So it's really encouraging to be part of that, and to, it makes us want to be also, up on that level as well.
Yeah,
So
right.
during this chairmanship, during my chairmanship here, Alhamdulillah, working together with my council members, we materialized several initiatives, including the AYEC Business and Entrepreneurship Dialogue Series. So we wanted to do regular engagement or dialogue series where, we do a session where other ASEAN, other entrepreneurs from across ASEAN could come in and, learn.
Oh, that was
about
done
business and
already?
all that.
When was this done?
So that's done. We've done 3 series already, Alhamdulillah. I think we
okay.
started in July, and then the second one was in September. Yeah, and then the third was
Fantastic.
October. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And then we also saw the launch of the ASEAN Young Women Entrepreneurs Club,
Oh,
AYWEC.
that's right. Yes.
Yes. So this launched sometime in May, and we signed our charter in July. So because we went through quite a lot of engagements about, okay, how do we make this club inclusive, not exclusive, and all that. So we took quite some time, and then of course this year as well, together with our council members, we also are launching the first inaugural ABAC AYEC Policy Dialogue Forum. So this is also happening in the next couple of days. So we're very nervous, but also excited about this.
So it's ABAC, AYEC Dialogue Policy Forum.
Yes. So
okay, interesting.
we report to ASEAN Business Advisory Council. So we purposely put together an ABAC AYEC Policy Dialogue Forum.
So that you have the
yes.
I see. So you finally, it's the first time you're actually bridging that gap between ABAC and AYEC, right?
Yes.
So that's excellent.
Yes.
When is that going to be?
So it's going to happen this Friday at 2 to 5 p.m.
2 to 5 p.m. Anyone can
2
come,
to 5 p.m.
can tune in? Is it live? Is it?
It is actually by invitation. However, if people are serious, they can actually request to participate. What is interesting about this first ABAC AYC Policy Dialogue Forum, we're creating it as a platform for our young entrepreneurs to engage with our senior business leaders. Because our ABAC are the senior business leaders.
Yes,
they know
correct.
all about how we can move the region together and all that.
Correct,
So we wanted to have that platform for dialogue on challenges, to also be able to collectively empower and also enable our young entrepreneurs to be able to contribute to taking ASEAN to greater heights. So this first series, we're doing it on the theme is about agility, adaptability, and innovation, paving the path forward towards business recovery. So we really want to focus on key enablers to recovery together. So there are 3 focus areas that we're looking at. We are looking at digitalization, of course, imperative for digitalization. Second is on travel and tourism. And then, of course, the supply chain, logistics and supply chain, because all of these have been affected, I suppose, or impacted.
How many participants are there in this dialogue?
We're expecting about 150 for this dialogue. Yeah.
And the dialogue, how many people are in the dialogue itself?
We are expecting, because we have broken it into 3 sessions. Per session, we've got about 5 people in each session. So it's going to be a very
focused
tight schedule and very focused.
Very focused.
So we are expecting about 15 to 17 of us within the dialogue itself.
Okay, interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Fatin, you were saying earlier that you formed the ASEAN Young Women's Entrepreneur Council, right? Was it council?
Entrepreneurs Club.
Club. So the Young Women Entrepreneur Club, how is this going to be different from AYEC itself?
So AYEC was established as this organization, or rather a council of member organizations from endorsed organizations from across ASEAN. So you've got to be the endorsed Young Entrepreneurs Organization for you to be able to be part of AYEC. So that membership is pretty exclusive at the moment.
Okay, right.
So with AYWEC, of course, at the board level, we have to be a member of the AYEC, of course. However, what we have done differently for AYWEC is that we have created what we call the community membership, where we want to encourage women entrepreneurs to actually participate in AYWEC, regardless of whether you are part of an organization or you're not part of an organization. Yeah.
So there's no barrier. There's no barrier. You don't have to be owning a business or running a business, or do you have to?
At least should be an aspiring entrepreneur.
So you can be an aspiring entrepreneur, established entrepreneur. There is no barrier to age. Is it young, old? There's no barrier.
45 years old, about 45 years old and below, because we are called the ASEAN Young Women.
It still has to come within the AYEC, right? And there's no barrier to belonging to the association itself. You don't have to be a part of AYEC.
Yes, you don't have to be part of AYEC necessarily to be part of AYWEC. So that's the format that we have created for AYWEC. This is also because if you look at where women are in ASEAN, there are about 61 million of women across ASEAN countries who own and operate businesses. So if you think about it, that's roughly about nearly 10% of ASEAN population. However, the majority of our women in the region actually operate businesses in the most disadvantaged sector. And these are predominantly still agriculture, even in those industry or services that tend to concentrate on a limited number of activities, such as catering, tailoring, beauty, and food processing.
Mostly micro SMEs, is it?
Yes. Yes.
And that constitutes about 6 million all in all women in ASEAN in business. And most of it is in micro SMEs, in the most difficult, challenging.
61 million, yes, 61
million. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That's
this
a
is
big
the figure
number.
that is from the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor. We were surprised as well when we found out this figure.
61 million.
Yes.
Whoa,
and also,
wow.
reality is also that women-owned businesses often lag behind male-owned enterprises. either in terms of size, in terms of productivity, and we tend to be less profitable and with little potential for further expansion. And these are studies that was done. So that's why, this became sort of like our, I guess, goal to be able to encourage more of our women to rise, to be more ambitious, to be bold. Yeah. So
Excellent.
that's the goal of AYEC.
Excellent.
Yep.
So tell us now, how many young entrepreneurs have joined the your charter, the Young Entrepreneurs Association of Brunei?
So in terms of the Young Entrepreneurs Association of Brunei, yeah. So we are, I mean, in Brunei, there's only about under 6,000 active MSMEs, yeah. And these MSMEs are actually sometimes multiple, owned by the same people. So in terms of our membership is pretty small. We are roughly about 200, 300 like that of our entrepreneurs. However, the way that we do things in YAB, we are not only inclusive or exclusive for our members, because our activities actually have wider reach with our young entrepreneurs. So we do not, I guess, only focus on engaging with our entrepreneurs. We make sure that we are contributing to the development of entrepreneurship by doing things that are not only for our entrepreneurs. For example, whenever we have the AYEC Carnival before, we used to actually encourage our entrepreneurs, both YAB members and non-YAB members, to actually participate, to go. So technically for others, it would be typically that you would have to be a member of that organization to be able to participate. Yes, so that's the difference that we make here in Brunei as well. Yeah, for YAB. But I think in terms of membership of AYEC, we are about 70,000 young entrepreneurs across ASEAN. From within the AYEC network. Yes, that's because Indonesia, you've got, I don't know, probably probably half of that is coming from Indonesia. You wouldn't be surprised, right? Yeah.
Okay. How do you have any plans on driving membership? Is there anything that you have put aside?
So through AYEC, actually, under AYEC, we've also got what we call the AYEA, the ASEAN Young Entrepreneurs Association.
Yeah.
Yes. So as I mentioned just now, AYEC you need to be a member of an endorsed organization. So for you to be part of AYEC, but AYEA is for organizations that are not necessarily endorsed by the government, because in some countries, probably in Indonesia, you probably would have 5,000 young entrepreneurs organization. Whereas in Brunei, we're probably about three or four here in Brunei. So we want to be able to be more inclusive, to enable our other young entrepreneurs to be able to be part of AYEC through AYEA, the ASEAN Young Entrepreneurs Association. Yeah.
So how do you drive the membership?
So at the moment, we are actually actively trying to build our website. So we have just gotten, because we feel that it's important for us to have a global face. So Deborah, our wonderful Secretary General, really has been, been behind AYEC for this past, since the founding of AYEC. So what we have been doing this past couple of months has been to actually redevelop our website to be a lot more, I guess, one is standardized, and second is friendly, very friendly to people to understand what we are. Previously, for example, last year during Vietnam Year, they developed a website that is quite focused, in some ways focused on the AYEC in Vietnam. So of course we wanted to make it more standardized this year. So that has happened under Deborah's belt most recently. So we want to be able to get people to know us first, and be able to actually also do activities like the ASEAN, the AYEC Business and Entrepreneurship Dialogue Series. That's how we got other people to start knowing us. So that's how we want to promote ourselves beyond just the AYE Carnival that we do once a year.
Do they get incentives? Sorry, go ahead.
Incentives? No, go ahead.
Do the members get incentives? Like
to be part of
to be a part of? Yeah. Is there anything
Yeah.
special, incentives?
I think at the end of the day, why we are founded is also because we wanted to be able to be this network of organization or entrepreneurs where people, for example, if you are Bruneian who want to do business in Thailand, you could easily just reach out to someone who is in that sector or industry to actually get to know more about that sector. So that's really our goal at the end of the day, to become that facilitator of entrepreneurship trade across the region for our young entrepreneurs. I think aside from that as well, what we are also trying to also do, and I'm finishing up my term very soon, but I'm going to be working with my colleagues at the Young Entrepreneurs Association of Cambodia, YEAC, to actually look into also engaging more with our startups. Because the startups in the region, if you look at, I guess, Tech Asia actually considers now to be the golden age of Southeast Asia. So because in just, I think, a span of 1 year, Southeast Asia tech scene are drawing attention of investors around the world. And in 2020, the startups in the region, I think, raised over 8 billion. 8 billion.
8
So
billion.
that's in 2020. Yes.
Wow.
And this trend also has actually continued in the first half of 2021. Yeah, and I think regional mergers and acquisition also hitting a record high of about 120 billion, if I'm not mistaken, 125. Yeah. So, and this trend is expected to actually continue, and Southeast Asia may just be the next hotspot for startups.
The fastest growing region.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to be able to be ready for that as well, to be able to be this platform of opportunity. Because I think if you think about it as well, right? ASEAN, when we were founded in 1967, ASEAN was founded out of, I guess, wanting to band together after all the turmoils, after all the conflicts that has happened within Southeast Asia. So people more inclined to come together, so that we can be stronger together. But I think if you look at now, with the democratization of information, democratization of opportunities, the sense of belonging, or I guess the sense of wanting to be part of something, is not there anymore.
Yes.
It's the sense of wanting to be part of network. Yes. So that's a trend that I'm seeing as well in YAB, in Brunei as well, because it's simply because access to opportunity is there. So people don't see the need to be really part of something, part of a club. So it's the same with Southeast Asia as well. However, that is a challenge for AYEC then, for us to become this platform of opportunity, to be able to be this platform of, people wanting to be part of us.
Exactly.
So
that's exactly where we are, in fact, with Voice of ASEAN. We felt that we should define the narrative of Southeast Asia and not let other media from different parts of the world define the narrative. So we wanted to be a platform that has all Southeast Asian businesses and policymakers and shakers and movers to converge in one platform. So that's why we said we have to work together with you, because you're very aligned. So share. And so one of the things that I want to do is why I'm actually interviewing every head of all the AYEAs, is to be able to understand, to be able to show the audience and a global audience what every country is unique for. Because yes, we are a region. Yes, we are one economic region. We are very close together, but every country has its own sovereignty and every country has its own uniqueness. So with you, I would like you to tell us, because you're the expert in your own country, what is the business ecosystem like in Brunei? What would the challenges be, the prospects, as well as how people think in Brunei, the sentiments, how young entrepreneurs are, what are they aspiring for? I mean, a little bit about what Brunei represents to the rest of the world.
So I have to say that this is my personal view. So jangan kecam saya. In terms of Brunei, I would say Brunei is a nation in transition. I think because even when I joined YAB back in 2007, I remember those days when it was a lonely time to be an entrepreneur. It was just not easy to find other people who are doing business. Because everybody just wanted to be working for the government. And the concept is that you graduate, you work for the government. And if you work for the private sector, you work for the oil and gas industry. And nobody looks even after looks at the MSMEs, the small medium enterprises. And that's where I started. I have always worked in the private sector. And I'm proudly, I proudly say that people in the private sector are the warriors of the economy.
Of course, of
Because
course. We are the
because it's
strong
a
horse
pain.
that pulls the cart. You know, Winston Churchill
Exactly.
said that. Hmm.
Yes, exactly. So for Brunei at the moment, I mean, in the past couple of years, we have seen massive, I guess, improvements as well in our ecosystem. Simply because our government has made it a commitment and also intention to actually improve our ecosystem. Starting with actually improving our, registering of business and all that. At some point, we were quite high in the ranking. We were growing quite high, but I think last I checked this year we're at 66, not because we have dropped off, but simply because other countries have become a lot better than we do. They were catching up as well. Other countries are taking the ease of doing business much more seriously as
Yeah.
well. So for Brunei, I think since the establishment of the Darussalam Enterprise, which is a statutory body that looks after MSME development, we have seen massive, massive growth in our MSMEs, of course. And I personally see it because I'm from YAB as well. We used to be running, capacity building workshops and all that before. Now our MSMEs could get access to that through there. So there is supporting development of our MSMEs. So also that has resulted in a lot of our young people taking entrepreneurship as a serious career choice as well. If not temporary, some are taking it much more seriously. So we are seeing good growth in our startup scene. I mean, iCenter was set up, I think, sometime in iCenter is the incubator center, incubation center. The first one that was set up also by the Brunei government at that time by the Brunei Economic Development Board, I think sometime in 2006 or 2007. So in the first 7 years of its life, you had the same entrepreneur being part of the ecosystem. Now you have a different group of entrepreneurs there, the older ones and the younger ones. So it's really encouraging to see how our young people now are being a lot more entrepreneurial. Some although doing it part-time, but we can see it's really changing the economy as well. Because like, for example, like COVID last year when when COVID first happened in March, there were quite a number of startups that started going into e-commerce seriously. Our delivery business started really booming. Today, just last year, it wasn't heard of to have a runner actually sending your goods to your house. Today,
Really?
this is one of the most popular career choice as well. You
Huge
could do it as an
transformation.
entrepreneur. Exactly. So it's very interesting to see the changes that we have lah. But of course, Brunei is still far away from in comparison to where Singapore is. But we are confident, and we hope that we could actually see a unicorn come out of Brunei, perhaps in the next 10 years. Who knows? It's just, I think that we just have to go through this rite of passage. I believe in Brunei is just undergoing a rites of passage where we are learning about entrepreneurship, we are learning about the pains of doing business, and the government is trying to also develop the ecosystem to be better. But I think, of course, one of our challenges is here in Brunei is to encourage our businesses and young entrepreneurs to actually look outwards rather than inwards only. So, because Brunei is such a small market. Brunei is only a market of about 400 plus thousand, 450, if I'm not mistaken. This is a 450,000 economy. That's why we were limited edition, which means that if someone opens the same business and you have got 3 or 4 of them, you are in tight competition already.
So that was my next question for you. Actually, I was saying, how are they looking outward? Because if you have 450,000, there's two things. One is instead of supplying the own people, you're either looking at exporting, or you're looking at importing, or you're looking at businesses coming into Brunei to be able to offer something that's not there, or your people collaborating to be able to offer something. So where do you see that going?
To be honest, I think because Brunei is such a nimble country as well, our entrepreneurs are very nimble, very adaptable. And I have seen the trend, like us collaborating with others. I have seen others coming in and establishing here and being very successful, and then also doing business outside. But we do have some entrepreneurs who are daring to brave across Brunei. For example, we've got Queenie, our member. who is now based in Singapore. Maybe you should interview her as well. She's this brilliant young lady who does memory, who does legacy planning. So she makes planning death hip. So she's now based in Singapore, trying to see how she can expand her business across Southeast Asia. We've also got Lukman, who is also a YAB colleague, who does Al-Hufaz management, who does online Al-Quran teaching. And then also we've got Mr. He's in education. It doesn't ring a bell right now. Apoyan Khairi. He also does education as well. He's based in Indonesia. And he does awesome stuff in education as well. So we do have young entrepreneurs who are braving, outside. But I think it's a question of time, really, to give that opportunity for young people. Yeah, but of course, at the moment, the challenges for our young entrepreneurs is really to think about doing business outside on their own. So that's where we at YAB have been advocating our young entrepreneurs to be able to do that through through the network like AYEC. So that's why networks like AYEC is so important for us. Yeah. I think also besides that as well, for us in Brunei, one very important thing is also that Brunei government has made the Brunei economic blueprint. One of the aspiration, in fact, the first aspiration is actually for our businesses to be businesses that are globally minded, to be able to actually businesses that are able to export. Because the way that we see it, for Brunei economy to grow, we have got to actually export out. It's either you export your services or you export your goods. So Brunei is not a manufacturing hub yet. Or we are trying to do that for the food industry through where I currently work at. But we are still, I guess, far away from getting there. But nonetheless, there are some, I guess, starting points on this.
Of course. So Voice of ASEAN is helping promote AYEC's upcoming ASEAN Young Entrepreneurs Carnival, which will be held from 18 to 21st November in Brunei. You are in a unique position. You are the chairwoman of the council and president of the association where the carnival is being held. So what do you hope to see achieved during the carnival?
So this year has actually been a very challenging year for us, for businesses. In fact, not just this year, but last year as well. So when I first came in as the chair, I realized that a lot of my colleagues are just, the sentiment isn't as positive as it used to be. So hence, we decided that this year for the 6th ASEAN Young Entrepreneurs Carnival, and this is for the first time it's being held entirely virtually. Last year, our colleague in Vietnam did it hybrid. So some of us joined online and they did it physical as well. So this year is entirely virtual, especially also as Brunei is also grappling with COVID at the moment. So gatherings are very limited. So the 6th ASEAN Young Entrepreneurs Carnival comes with the theme of reimagining business in the new paradigm. So it's really about calling our businesses and calling our young entrepreneurs to overcome the disruptions brought by COVID-19 through digitalization, through leadership, through collaboration, and also inclusive involvement of women, of course, in addressing this grand challenge of our time, and especially as we adapt to this new normal. So our aspiration really is to inspire our young entrepreneurs to utilize this, I guess, pandemic lessons from the pandemic to become wiser, bolder, and stronger. So for us, that's our aspiration. So hence, we have put together a wonderful lineup of speakers hailing from across all ASEAN region, including Myanmar as well. We know our colleagues in Myanmar are struggling at the moment very much with their internal conflict. But we are very happy that they've been able to actually also participate with us this year. So with this, we really hope to actually, I guess, contribute as well to taking ASEAN to greater heights together through collective discussions on how can we re-emerge better? How can we re-emerge wiser? How can we re-emerge bolder? So we have got pretty exciting lineups. We've got our ministers joining us from Brunei as well. We've got also amazing, I guess, lineup of speakers coming from at least 10 sectors and industries. So we've got fintech, we've got people from agriculture, we have got someone from the ecosystem as well, and then we've got from logistics, we have also got from tourism as well, and then also from real estate. So we really just want to talk to our young entrepreneurs about, what have been the challenges for them been, and how did they overcome it? What lessons did they learn? So we just wanted to bring real stories from the ground.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Very diverse. The topics, the sectors, the
Alhamdulillah.
industries. Well done.
Yeah.
Congratulations to
Alhamdulillah.
the chairwoman. So let's
Yeah,
hear
and
more
our
about
colleagues.
you. Let's hear more about you. So
Thank you.
you, from what in the short period of time that I've spoken to you, you have taken on so many various responsibilities within the association, and we really want to know about this dynamic young woman. From last I spoke to you, you're only 21.
Yes, I have been 21 for the past 14 years.
So tell us more about you. How did you begin? How did you come upon this path? What inspired you? What motivated you? What makes you tick?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Beatrice. So I actually started, I guess, at the age of 21. That's why I always feel that, my golden years, my golden year really was when I was 21. That was
You just
when
stop the clock there.
Yeah, that was when I graduated university, and then that was when I actually got my first job, and also that was also the same year that I joined the Young Entrepreneurs Association of Brunei. It was also simply because I realized that when I first got a job, you know how when you were young, you've got this, you romanticize about, oh, now I'm an adult, I could do this, I could do that.
Yeah.
Then I realized when I started working, I was like, is this it to life? Is this all that I, So I came across the Young Entrepreneurs Association of Brunei. So that was how it all began. So the people that I met at YAB were just simply amazing, and they're still so active today in their own field and work. So I was so inspired by what they do, and also by what YAB does. So hence I have been part of YAB for this long. And so that actually opened up so many opportunities for me. So previously, the opportunity, I guess being a member of YAB, the benefit really was also that you got to attend, you got to be prioritized for all these special exchange programs, be it on entrepreneurship, be it on personal development or professional development. So that was actually how I utilized those opportunities. So I invested a lot in my own personal growth by joining all these programs before that were provided through YAB. So and also by being part of YAB, I learned how to do part-time business. I used to be a part-time trader here and there, doing facilitating businesses here and there. So until 2014, after I actually did my master's, is when I actually decided to actually go into entrepreneurship full-time. Because I said, what have I got to lose? I have been working previously for 7 years. Now it's time for me to actually, experience actually, doing full time. So I started being part of True Synergy. That was at that time, Brunei was, I guess we were early in the game. In terms of we were providing co-working spaces, and we were trying to be this ecosystem development company organization. So we couldn't hold on long enough, because when you are the first in the game, usually you would have to hang on for a bit, because you have to do a lot of the groundwork. Yes, exactly. You have to create the path, you have to do the groundwork and all that. So
you have to build roads that were not there before.
Yes, exactly. And also because I was young as well. So young and, didn't understand what business really was still. So learned my lesson. That was a partnership actually. I left that partnership to actually go on to do Cogent Inc. So Cogent Inc. Through Synergy actually also was where I realized that I have my passion in actually supporting MSMEs to grow. Because I used to just do small consulting here and there for my colleagues at YAB as well, asking me, hey, how do I grow my business and all that. So apparently my advisors actually supported them in their businesses. Excellent. So I decided to take that seriously by actually opening Cogent. So I used to just consult businesses to see whether they should grow, whether they should close the business, or whether they should actually expand the business. So I did that for about 1.5 years actively before I joined Ghanim International Corporation, which is where I am today. It's a Brunei government company where we are tasked to actually look into the development of the food industry, where we actually aggregate MSMEs or food products for export under the Brunei Halal Foods brand. Yeah.
Wow, what a journey.
Yeah.
So when you look back at your journey, what in regards to all the associations and companies and clubs that you were a part of, what is the most fondest memory you have that made you realize, I'm glad I'm doing what I'm doing?
Yeah, I think I guess being able to make an impact. I think like knowing that what I did at Cogen for the businesses actually made a difference for their business. So some businesses those businesses that I was supporting are still growing today. So it's really encouraging to see that with some little help, little support, little push as well, and data and analytics, things could make a difference. So I think that's where I am really driven to actually make a difference in a way where we need to know, what are the issues, how do we address them. So that's what I do as well at Ghanim at the moment, at Ghanim International Corporation. So we are serious about growing Brunei's export through food products.
Fantastic.
So who knows, in the next couple of years, we could rival the likes of Nestle.
Fantastic.
Except we will be the halal of Nestle.
Why not, right? So I think the future of Brunei is safe in your hands.
Oh, no. Safe in the hands of our young people in Brunei.
With you inspiring all the young entrepreneurs to follow in the steps that you are setting, to be a part of the growth of Brunei, I think it's in safe hands. And I think Brunei thanks you, and I thank you for coming on the show. Thank you so much. You're most welcome. Join us live tomorrow, everyone, 16 November at 4 p.m. Malaysian time for an interview with Hans Lukiman, the head of ASEAN and Australasian Relations for Himpunan Pengusaha Muda Indonesia, or HIPMI. So the Voice of ASEAN thanks you for your time, and we'll be uploading a recorded version of this dialogue, of our dialogue with Fatin, in our portal for those who missed it. Thank you, Fatin, and thank you, everyone.